The Treasure Hunter quest leads you to the secret watermelon field location in Chapter 3, and after a successful completion, gives you access to the Spellbinder ability. Spellbinder is incredibly potent because it completely changes your playstyle, locking away all of your special abilities, including other spells, things like vessels and spirits, in exchange for enhancing your martial capabilities. So if you really want to play into that monkey with a stick fantasy, then you absolutely need to get Spellbinder. In addition, this quest also ties into the game's secret ending. But for more on that, do be sure to get subscribed, leave a like while you're down there, and for now, let's get into things, starting with the treasure hunter's first location. You first encounter him shortly after reaching the north shore of Bitter Lake. So, starting from that shrine, head left and follow the shoreline until you enter a small area that looks like some sort of temple. After passing through the archway, head up the path to see the treasure hunter by the main building. He's under attack from several Apramana bats. Now individually, they're not too bad, but all three together can be quite a challenge as they can freeze you. Use all of your resources to blast them, and consider transformation to give yourself extra health, or a plug of many to give them more targets to instead direct their attacks to.
Wait, you won't eat me, will you? I was on a treasure hunt, but I ended up being the hunted. I owe you my life, sir. I'll share the treasure with you once I find it.
Now before you can encounter him again, you're going to need to progress to the Village of Ecstasy. You find the treasure hunter again by the Tower of Karma Shrine. From the shrine, simply turn back around, head back down the path you came, and go talk to the treasure hunter. There's a good chance that as you're progressing, you'll find him before you find the shrine. But just in case you missed him or you came from a different direction, this is the best way to get there. And this time, he's frozen solid, which makes sense given how cold and snowy the region is and how underdressed he seems for the occasion. So to warm him up, you need to cast a Ring of Fire. Luckily, there's a shrine nearby in case you need to swap your spells. So cast Ring of Fire to save him, continue his quest, and get yourself another clue about the location of a melon field, basically that it's at the base of a cliff. Alright, that makes sense. It's not like this game has any cliffs. But wait, maybe we're gonna need a little bit more information.
Yet, when the cold bites all around, without your powerful spells, there's no way I can find it. Someone once saw a chubby boy jump from the cliff with a watermelon in his arms. He rushed to the edge of the cliff but saw no movement down there. Seemed like certain death. But suddenly, he heard the boy laughing from beneath, on and on. Bewildered, he fled from the cliff. This story may offer a clue for my treasure hunt. Maybe the watermelons were planted under the cliff.
So to find the watermelon field, it is still in the Village of Ecstasy, but you need to start from the Forest of Felicity Shrine. Start by taking the path down from the shrine. At the bottom of this path, you'll find a lake that kinda branches off into a stream after a small waterfall. Continue on all the way down the path the river takes. At the end of the river, you'll start to see some torches. This is your clue that you're in the right place. So head over to torches and jump down off of a cliff in the area between the two lit braziers. From here, you can kind of just follow the light all the way down the path, across the broken tree, and down again until you reach the cave. Enter the cave to find the watermelon field. This is where your old friend the treasure hunter returns, except this time he's revealing his true form as the Green-Capped Martialist, and he's going to attack you with a flaming chakram. And so here are some tips on how to deal with his mechanics that I picked up during my encounter. Personally, I found this one to be really easy. It was a one-try kind of deal. That said, some of his moves are downright nasty, so don't feel bad if it takes you a few tries. First up, he fires a bolt of flame, followed by a flurry of projectiles. You can dodge left and right to avoid the flame, but you need to kind of time your dodge or sprint to avoid the projectiles afterwards. I also noticed that a lot of his attack sequences flow into each other. This means dodging in a direction isn't necessarily that helpful, it's much more about the timing. And also, it can be a little bit hard to know if you can safely continue your attack sequence after dodging, or if you need to prepare to dodge again. There's definitely going to be a little bit of trial and error here, but for safety, plan to dodge again, and if it turns out he stops attacking, bonk him in the face while you have the opportunity. I also noticed that while he does have low health, it can be really difficult to find a good time to use a Pluck of Many, especially once he starts using his transition phases. So this is one of the rare cases where it might be better to just use that off the start and burn the first part of his health without wasting any other resources. At 60% health, he turns into a flaming chakram and wheels around the room. Personally, I would recommend using Cloud Step here. Not only is it a pretty low mana cost spell, but it should draw the ire of the chakram and allow you to just sit off to the side and wait for the transition to finish. As a note, this goes on for quite a while, so you might need to dodge near the end. After that, the fight continues as before until around 40% health, where he does roughly the same, but this time becomes 2 flaming chakrams. This is where I would recommend that you use the Fireproof Mantle Vessel obtained from the secret boss in Chapter 1. This allows you to immune fire damage, so you no longer have to worry about perfectly dodging the chakrams. If they run you over, you get knocked down, but that's really all there is to it. One of the reasons why it's a little bit difficult to use Pluck of Many on this fight is because below 40% health, he will also transform himself into a chakram and do a shorter version of a transition, kind of whirling around the room. But aside of that, he doesn't really get that much scarier as his health gets lower, and like I said, he doesn't have all that much health, so even just using things like heavy attacks, charged heavies, Cloud Step, and Immobilize, you should be totally fine to defeat him without too many issues. After you beat him, he runs away. Don't worry, you won't be seeing him for quite a while. So this is how my first attempt went against the Green-Capped Martialist. Since I beat it in one, I definitely did not play as well as I could have if I had properly learned his patterns.
a fight. Why try those amateur tricks again? Foolhardy, nothing more. I've done as our brother asked. Till we meet again.
But after you do, the small monk appears, and after a short conversation, gives you the Spellbinder ability. So if your fantasy is mostly monkey and steel, congratulations, this is going to be the spell for you. So far, I haven't done too much with Spellbinder. I just like all of the cool abilities, spells, and tricks that you otherwise have at your disposal. That said, I am kind of considering doing a Spellbinder-only playthrough, where on New Game Plus, I go through at least all of the main story bosses just using Spellbinder. This would be a fun challenge, because I suspect it's going to be significantly harder when you can't use a vessel to automatically counter certain abilities. But hey, I guess that's something for a future video. Though that said, I'm curious, what do you think of Spellbinder? Do you like using all of your spells and extra abilities, or do you just want to be a monkey with a stick and bonk some heads? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, if you're looking for something else to watch, I'll link to a video on how to get a fireproof mantle, and how to find and defeat some of the other secret bosses located throughout the chapters. Those will be up in the card and down below. If you want a handy reference for completing this quest, then I've got a written guide over at MaxwellGG, which I'll also link down below. With that said, I'd like to take a minute to thank my patrons and channel members for the continued support. For as low as $1 a month, you can now make videos just like this one possible. Link to support is down below. And a big thanks to everyone who watched to the end of the video. I'm glad you've enjoyed, and I have to say, I'm surprised at how much secret content was packed into Black Myth Wukong. After the first couple chapters, I thought, oh, there's a quest here, a thing there. No, the more I play, the more I have found there's so much secret content, including some that I had to double back to after finding out it existed, because on my first time through the zone, I ended up missing it. So I look forward to sharing more in the future, and I hope to see you in those videos.